Today we're going to take a look at Monogram Maker. This is a new feature in Cricut Design Space. If you open up Cricut Design Space and you have Cricut Access, you'll see the new Monogram Maker on the far right on the bottom under the Upload area. It looks like this where my cursor is, and it says it has an M and a G and it says Monogram. So let's go ahead and take a look at it. I'm going to go ahead and click on Monogram, and it brings up this new window for us. There are various parts of the screen that we're going to take a look at. The first area are the initials area. It can take up to 4 initials. And I'm going to go ahead and put mine in. So M, L, M. And there are various types of monograms that are available to us. We can have a cut type of monogram, which is used for vinyl, and if you want to cut in cardstock or cut in various other types of mediums, and cut and draw. So you may have cut features and draw features, or any, which include also draw. Now I'm going to show you something in a moment about that, but let's take a look here at the different categories we have. We have classic types of monograms and thematic types of monograms. Under classic types, the focus is on the text style. We have modern types of texts, elegant, handwritten, and vintage. And for each of these types of text styles, we might have a frame that we can use with it, or we might not have a frame. And notice that the ones that do not have a frame do not have frames listed across the top here. It just has a square with a red line through it. However, those text styles that do have frames available will have frames running across the top. This area right here shows what the monogram will look like when you add it to your canvas. Note that there are most likely additional frame types as well. It just doesn't have an arrow button over here on the right hand side. What you do is you select the last frame and it will continue to scroll until there are no more items or no more frames to select from. The other thing to note here are the different ways that your initials can show. For example, in this monogram that I've selected, the middle initial is larger than the other 2 initials. In this case, it has gone ahead and put my last name initial in the middle, which is a standard, and then my first and middle initial on the outside. So for ones where you have the middle that's larger than the other 2, the last initial will most likely become the middle initial and it will be larger. However, for ones that are all the same size, such as the one I've selected here, your initials will go in the order in which you have entered them above. The other thing I'd like for you to note is that for Annie, you'll see these little icons down here. The scissors are a cut type of style. The pen is a draw type of style. And then if you selected cut and draw, you will either see items that are just draw or some that have draw and cut, which will have the pen and the scissors attached to both. In this particular case, under modern, we have neither. We have just the draw type. If we select elegant, the same is true, or we can go back to any. We have some pretty fancy ones in here too. Handwritten and vintage. Let's check out thematic. Now, one of the things to note here is that the text styles have become the area at the top where the frames used to be, and the frame styles are now where the text styles used to be. Notice here that you have cut and draw, and cut, and so forth. So if I were to select this frame, I would have 3 different types of text style available to me. However, if I were to select this frame style, I have many different types of text available to me. And again, I might have more if I just keep selecting and it will scroll for me. So there's no arrow there. And I just keep going until the end and it stops scrolling for me. Another thing to be aware of is some frame styles will not show all 3 initials. For example, this hook will only show 1 initial. Some will show 2, and of course some will show all 3 or 4. I'm going to go ahead and select this one, and I'm going to select Add to Canvas. And that's all there is to that. One of the things I'd like to show you is how we can change the operation type of the monogram from cut or cut and draw to something different. Once you've added your monogram, take a look at the type that you have. So for example, I've added this monogram to my page, and I have a very skinny font, which was indicated as being a drawing font. And you can take a look at the frame, and the frame is designed as a cut. So let's say that I want to change this. Let's say that I want to engrave the ML and M. I can look up here and see that it says multiple, and I want the rest of it to be engraved as well. I can select my monogram, click on the drop down on Operation, and I can select Engrave. I can deboss it. I can even foil it for fine, medium, and bold. Once I select the operation that I want, it will change depending on what I've chosen, and you can see the lines that are going to be engraved. If I take a look at the foil, you can see what's going to be foiled. And of course I can score it if I choose to score it. I can also change it to all pen if I choose, so that there's no more cut, and so forth. If I change it to all cut, this part in the middle, the M, the L, and the M, will be difficult because it is so skinny. So that probably won't work for me to change it to a complete basic cut. I'm going to go ahead and leave it on Engrave, just so that you can see that we can change the operation. You can customize your monograms a number of different ways, and I'm going to go over a few of those now. I've created some monograms in advance. We'll take a look at this first one. In this monogram, what I've done is I've changed the color of the middle initial here. I'm going to go through this and show you how I did it. First thing I need to do, however, is ungroup this entire panel here, and I'm going to move the original over. Now, the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to ungroup, and then I'm going to detach down at the bottom here. Now we're going to change that middle initial, and in order to do this, we need to make a copy of the initials. And I'm going to do this by duplicating. You can also use Control-C and Control-V. I'm going to right-click and select Duplicate, and I'm going to move this out of the way. We're going to use the contour function to hide the 2 M's. The contour function is down here at the bottom right. And what we're going to do is we're going to select both M's to hide them and click on the X. Now we have the L showing only. To change the color of the L, come up to the operation area, select the color box, and change the color. I'm going to use the color of the inner ring. The next thing we're going to do is we're going to hide the L on this text box. So select the text box, come down to Contour again, and select and hide the L, and click on the X, and then move the L that's a different color into place. Now, for the sake of this exercise, I'm not going to be perfect about the whole thing. I'll just get kind of close. Well, all right, sort of close. Let's just... I'm a perfectionist. We'll just do it that way. All right. The next thing we want to do is group those together. So what I did was I'm going to, oops, don't want to do that. Let me put this back into place. I'm going to select this, then I'm going to hold down the Shift key and select the M so that both of those are selected together, and I'm going to group them together so that it's now one text box. The next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to click, hold, and drag over all of the pieces and select Group. Now everything is grouped together. If I were to make this right now, all of the pieces would be made independently, which is fine, and I would be using it for vinyl or something like that. I could also be using it for infusible ink if I were using different infusible ink pieces or different infusible ink colors. If, however, I wanted to use it for print and cut, what I would next do is go down here to the bottom on the right and select Flatten. That would allow me to use it for print and cut. The next one, oh, you know what? Let me just hide these. I forgot to put them together. The next one, let's take a look at, is this graduate cap. Now here what I've done is I've actually customized it with an image and another text box. I've also changed the color of the text, of the initials text. So let me go ahead and ungroup this entire panel, and I'm going to move this hat box out, and I'm going to make it a little bit bigger. So in order to do this, we'll just go ahead and create some text. I'm going to move it over here, and we'll type in chess club. I'm going to move it over the black just a little bit so that I can change the color to white. And then I'm going to make it small enough to fit onto the bill here. Now notice that we're probably going to need to curve it so that it looks okay. In order to curve the text, we're going to go up to the second toolbar up here, and on the right, or the second one over from the farthest right, is Curve. Click on the drop down and you'll see diameter. You can either type in the amount of diameter that you want, or to make it easier, you can slide the slider to the right for a downward. You can see as it goes, And you can move it around and so forth. And as a point of exercise, I'm going to say that that's good enough. And then we can go and look in our images. Now I have Cricut Access, so I have access to a bunch of images. And we'll look for a chess set, I'm going to go ahead and select this first one. However, if you didn't have Cricut Access, you could come up here and select the free and see if there are any free images available. I'm going to select here, and I'm going to select Add to Canvas on the bottom right. I'm going to move this over, and I'm going to resize it to be pretty small. In order to see it on the hat, I'm going to change the color again to white. Move it up and continue to resize until it fits the hat. Now you could do this with choir or, whatever floats your boat. I wanted to change the color of the initials because I thought it would look better. It doesn't look terrible this way. I just thought it might look nice with the colors of the initials. And this way also you'll be able to see that you can change the colors of the text as well. So I'm going to select, I'm going to click, and notice it selects everything, and I'm going to click Ungroup at the top. And now I can select the initials. And we change the color of the initials the exact same way. We click on the color under Operation, and we select the color that matches the tassel. Once we're done, we click, hold, and drag over everything and select Group. And that just makes it easier for us to be able to drag everything around. Now notice that everything here is a basic cut, and that's probably what we're going to want to use it for, is a basic cut. If it were draw, it would be a little awkward because these are really thick, and this chest club is pretty thick, and of course these are not set up for draw, these are set up for cut. Let me move this back into place. I'm going to click, hold, and drag over everything and group it so that I can easily hide it for you. Nope, not the right one. All right, let's take a look at this next one. Now notice here that I didn't actually use initials. I'm sure there's somebody's initials, but I didn't. Let's say that you have an event and you have 3 initials that might spell a word. This one I was thinking about a bridal shower or a centerpiece at a table for a bridal shower or an engagement dinner or something like that. There is an engagement ring under the monogram area. And I thought, well, this might be kind of fun to set the initials to yes. And so I brought this one in, and I haven't made any modifications to this at all. I just typed in yes and brought it in, and we can make a cut out of it. Now, making a cut out of it would be difficult because the yes hangs out there in there independently. However, you can create a situation where if you wanted to make it a cake topper or something like that, you could attach a shape, a really thin square, so that it's attached to the base of the ring. There's all kinds of things you could do. It'd also be perfect for the front of a card, a cutaway card. It'd be great for a cutaway card, and so forth. So there's, if you think outside the box, there's a number of different things that you can use for it. Okay, on this one, I wanted to show you, number one, you can of course change the type. You can change the type, and you can change the colors. So let's go ahead and take a look. I'm going to ungroup this, and let's pull this over here. Notice that the operation on this is set to basic cut. What if, however, I wanted to put it on a card, or put it on cardstock generally, or I wanted to put it on a label, and I needed it to be pen, or I was going to put it on a card and I wanted it to be foiled. I can certainly change that, and I can set it to pen. And notice that it changes to show the outlines that will be drawn by the pen. What if also I wanted to change the colors that it's going to be using? Okay, we can definitely do that. Let's ungroup at the top. We'll ungroup here. And then we'll come down at the bottom and detach. Oops, okay. The different items that we can select will be this area right here, and then this area right here, and you can see the two different selections between red and gray on this one that I've already changed. So over in the layers, it's easier to select by layer. I'm going to go ahead and select this top layer, and it's set to black. And I'm going to go under operation, and I'm going to change it to red. Well, I've already done red. Let's do something different. Let's try cactus pink. And then I'm going to select the other layer, and I'm going to change it to, I don't know. Let's try a light jade. And then I'm going to select the M, and I will change that to Now the colors aren't fantastic, they don't look wonderful. I tried playing around with all the different colors, but for the sake of the exercise, you can see that we can change the colors of the different areas of the monogram for drawing and so forth. You can also do this if you want to use two different colors of foil. And that was a mistake. So I'm going to pull these together by clicking, holding, and dragging. I'm going to group them together and move this back over here. We've done that one. All right, I'm going to hide this and then just show you one more. I think this is the one. Nope, I'm sorry. I keep showing you that one, but I have done that one already. Let me scroll down here. There it is. Okay, this is one that I haven't done anything with. I just brought it in as is. I just wanted to show you, you don't have to make changes to things. They can be exactly as you want, you know, from the get-go. However, it's most likely that you're going to want to change colors of things. They're not going to come in exactly the colors that you want. And so from the bare minimum, you're going to want to know how to do the ungroup function, which is up at the top. And notice that when I ungroup, I still can't select exactly what I want. Okay, so I ungroup as many times as I need to. Let me go back, I moved that on accident. And then I can select the outer layer and change the color, select the inner layer and change the color, and so forth. So at a minimum, that's probably what you're going to need so that you can at least get the color that you want. And that's all there is to the Monogram Maker. If you have any questions, please put them in the comments and I'll answer them to the best of my ability. And if you have any comments and want to add anything, please go ahead and add anything you'd like. And if you look down in the description, there's some additional information for you, and I really appreciate it. Thanks for watching, and don't forget to subscribe.